Okay, Suzi, right, I'm just going to prep, all right?
I've still got my eyes shut.
Yeah, I know. I'm trusting you to do that. I'm just getting you ready. All right, I think this is looking pretty good. Right, if you come and join me on my right hand... Oh, no, you can't, because you're there, aren't you?
Can I open my eyes or not?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm now putting the MetaQuest 3 headset on your face. Is that comfy-ish?
Oh, yeah, that's comfy.
Come and join me to my right. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Now, where is the ping pong table? Is it here?
Oh, there it is.
Is it there?
There's a cat.
There's a cat.
I'm playing against
with
a cat.
VR helmet on. Okay, play ping pong.
What? How do I?
Exactly like that. I wanted to show you how impressive the physics are on this very affordable piece of VR technology from Meta, as opposed to the Apple Vision Pro that isn't that affordable. Also, the other thing, the Vision Pro that we featured in our first episode of this great podcast, is that it doesn't feature controllers, whereas the MetaQuest 3 has, as Suzi's demonstrating.
Badly, really badly.
What Suzi's doing now, she's in a MetaQuest headset right now. The cameras are surrounding her. She can see me. Can you see how many fingers am I holding up? 5. How would you say the full colour pass-through compares to the clarity of the pass-through on the Vision Pro?
No, it's slightly different in that it's slightly more cartoon-like.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit more... Hang on, cat.
Yeah.
Wait,
she's a bit keen, isn't she?
Yeah, stop it.
She's playing against the disembodied head of a cat.
It's just a head of a cat.
With the eye helmet on. Yeah.
So it is a bit more...
It's a bit low res, isn't it?
Bit low res, that's good.
It
looks like you're filtered.
Yes.
And slightly...
shimmery.
Little sort of soft.
Yeah, as opposed to the Vision Pro, which is... You almost can't tell the difference between reality and your own eyes.
No, that's true.
Yeah, it's that clarity that it's become famous for.
I think with the Vision Pro, I really felt like when we were looking at that dinosaur, for example, that it wasn't a film, it was actually in the room. And
yes,
it was coming
so
over
immersive
me.
In that sense,
I was so immersive, I was enveloped by it. Whereas this feels a little more cartoon-esque.
Yeah, there's a bit of an uncanny valley where you've got to sort of just enter into the spirit of it. But it's not bad, is it? Like,
no,
for example,
it's fun.
if I stand up, and you want to high-five me, you can high-five me.
Yeah.
It's real time. There's no delay with the virtual objects.
Oh!
Yeah.
Did you see what I just did?
I did see what you just did.
I thought I was going to lean on the table.
You did.
I'm such a moron.
No, you're not. That is a very, very natural thing to happen. So what Suzi's saying there is that she wanted to lean on the table, which she's been playing on. She's so immersed in the virtuality that she mistook it for reality.
Exactly, that's what I did. I went to pick up the ball, and I went to lean with my left hand on what I thought was a table. Of course, there's absolutely nothing there.
Yeah. That's extraordinary. I'm really pleased that happened. That happens a lot.
Interesting,
it's actually, in reality, it's one of the reasons why there are lanyards on your controllers, because there are safety issues with VR helmets. As they become much more close to reality, we have to think a bit more about making sure that things like that don't happen and people don't fall flat on their face. All right, so you want to take the headset off? Sit down? Is that all right? Come on, take it off your head. Oh, bless you. Disappointed, aren't you?
Oh, I like the cat.
Welcome back to Grim Reality, Suzi. Thank you so much. What did you think?
Well, I really am glad that I've got to try that because I really wanted to see what it was like after that whole Mark Zuckerberg incident when he went on the internet and talked about how much better it was and how much cheaper it was than Apple Vision Pro. And obviously, we started our podcast, didn't we, looking at the Apple Vision Pro?
We did. We started with the creme de la creme, the money is no object. And what's important to realise is why he got excited. I think because he recognised that actually his wasn't just cheaper. In his own view, he thinks it's better.
He thinks it's better. Now, there are obviously differences.
Yeah, let me know what you think.
Well, let's talk about what it looks like, first of all. Jason's bought all 3 MetaQuest headsets in, 1, 2 and 3. So I'm just going to describe.
This one, the number one, is so old, it was called the Oculus Quest.
That's right.
Because they bought the Oculus technology. And then from the Quest 2, it became MetaQuest.
And from 2, they went white, didn't they? So
correct.
That was the big sort of visual difference between the 2. So that's in white. So MetaQuest 3 is white once again, and you've got the same kind of look on the front of it, but you've got the 3 cameras in the front.
Yeah, I mean, we say there are 3 cameras. There's lots of different sensors in there.
Yeah,
that enable you to sense the objects in the room and make a convincing job of replicating reality.
I think in terms of the size, it's probably similar. The way it looks, it's like a big big phone. I would say it's about that size, isn't it? I mean,
It's lacks a bit of girth over the Quest 2. It's a little slimmer than the Quest 2, the number 3.
Yeah, and it is quite immersive, although that I think you can a little bit see it outside peripheral vision, can't you?
Yeah.
Which takes away from the immersion a little bit.
Yes.
But if you're playing a game that you're into, I don't think you even kind of notice that really.
Well, I mean, you said that thing where you started to lean on the table. I'll tell you what I've done. I drink tea throughout the day, all right? And sometimes I'll take my tea and I'll put it on the coffee table and I'll play a game in my Quest 3. And on several occasions, I've put the glass on an object in the game.
Yeah.
The table tennis table being one of them, and just dropped it on the floor.
Yeah, so it just goes to show that your brain, within, 90 seconds?
Yes.
I thought there was a table tennis table there.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
I found it lighter to wear and very secure.
Yeah, I mean, partly, I have to say, that's got the Bobo VR extra add-on strap, which comes with a battery on the back. You've got extra power, blah, blah, blah. So I've added a bit of a posh headset add-on, but it really doesn't make that much difference.
I think in terms of what it looks like, you could describe it as, in comparison to the Apple Vision Pro, more lo-fi. It does look a bit more...
It's a bit more plasticky.
It's a bit more plasticky.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's lighter, and you kind of forget about it as soon as you get into a game.
Some of all the top-end Apple stuff is a bit it has a jewellery thing going on.
It does.
There's something precious.
It's luxurious. It feels expensive.
Yeah, when you take your iPhone out of the case, you can sometimes I just look at it. It's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah. The
chrome and the backing and the way that they do sort of matte black and things like that. And there's none of that going on with that device, the Meta Quest 3, is there?
No.
It's white. It's got the 3 goggle eyes on the front, which are the cameras and the depth sensors. But what that means is that they can make it
cheaper
for a lot, 7 times less than the Vision Pro.
Yeah, and the experience was just fantastic. I mean, what blew my mind really was when I went to lean on the table, and that, I wasn't making that up. I was talking to you. I wasn't concentrating on anything, just living it, and then thought I could lean on nothing.
Do you know what I do? Because the pass-through is so good now, compared to, say, the Quest 2 that I'm holding in my hands right now, which is also white. One of the things that I think old Zuckerberg got excited about, and I do agree with him here, is the library of content. Now, you were getting quite out of breath playing that and quite into it, right? Because you were properly throwing your weight around, right? And can you imagine, there are fantastic workout games. You know about Beat Saber, the famous Beat Saber. There are a lot of experiences. There's productivity experiences, horror games, more sort of AAA titles, adventures, board games. So
how does the Meta Quest 3 differ from the Meta Quest 2, keeping it in the family?
It's all about resolution. I mean, it's just got a much clearer image.
So just it improves your experience, basically.
It does. It is noticeably an upgrade. But the big difference is the pass-through, which is this...
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so you know when you put it on and you could still see me?
Yes.
And you could see the microphones and you could see
So you're in the room, but you're with all the additional...
It's real time. It's not some delayed, laggy view of the real world. It's almost like you can see straight through the plastic, right? And that's full colour, or it's colour. It's not glorious colour, isn't it? You said it was a bit lo-fi. Yeah, and as opposed to Vision Pro, which has a much wider colour gamut and gives you a much more realistic comparison to what it would look like with your own eyes.
I would say.
But it's black and white on the Quest 2.
So that's a big difference, isn't it?
It's a big difference. If you're playing, say, a board game and you've got characters like Dungeons and Dragons, you can place them on your coffee table and you can still see your coffee table. You can see your mom sat across on the sofa and the person that you're playing with, your sister or whatever. You can see them all and you can interact with them and they can interact with you, whether they're wearing headsets or not. You can see people in the room and assets. And you can use parts of the room, furniture and stuff in the gaming experience to a certain extent. So that requires colour, and that's what the Meta Quest 3 offers above and beyond the other Quests. Now, one of the things that Apple have been pushing is this idea of a new way of working. Okay, so they call it the kind of they call it spatial, don't they? This notion that you can have spatial computing. That's a phrase that they've pushed. In fact, they don't like the Vision Pro being referred to as a VR helmet. They really push back on that. Spatial computing is about seeing the real world, maybe your MacBook in front of you, and then extending the screen, extending your workable spaces, opening up a TV over here, a PowerPoint or whatever the keynote would be, I guess, if you're an Apple user, display over there, and then having a kind of virtual office. Interestingly, Meta really pushed that. That was one of the things that they were really keen to go with. They didn't call it spatial computing, they called it something else, I don't know. But I don't know if it works so well, because I think that is something that requires a really high quality. If you're going to live in it for 6 hours and you're going to do, I don't know, write notes or write a document based on surfing the internet, you want that highest visual clarity, don't you?
Of course you do. Of course you do.
But if you're jumping about with a laser in each hand, hitting cubes as they come towards you in a musical track, or fighting off zombies or climbing a mountain, then I'm sure you'll agree, having done that, the Meta Quest 3, what is it, 500 quid or thereabouts, a very affordable piece of kit. It's more than adequate to, completely get your hook, line and sinker into that virtual space.
Yeah, amazing.
Another difference to note is, of course, from the Apple Vision Pro, is that you've got the controllers. And the controllers not only give you that exact representation of your hand position, because they've got all kinds of sensors in there and interacting with the headset, you're also holding something. So when you're holding an actual weighted device in your right hand and you've got a pretend bat in the virtual world, it feels like a bat. And when you hit the ball, you get a little pulse, you get the tactile feedback. And that's just ping pong. What if you're holding a big broadsword, or you're shooting a weapon and it recoils, and then you run out and you clip a magazine in and you pull the stock or whatever it's called? You get all of that sensory feedback from these devices. And you don't get that on the Apple Vision Pro. It's just your hands.
I feel like they're for two different things, really. I don't know if I'm right in saying...
Well, Apple would agree with you.
I think Apple, if you're using it as a virtual office, for your work, for looking and
Movies.
Watching things, movies, anything like that, where you want that quality, that crisp quality of colour and clarity, I would choose the Apple, the Vision Pro. But for playing games and for having fun...
And fitness,
anything like that, where it wasn't the clarity that you really, really needed, then it's surely this.